Do you want to see exclusive content? Things that are too spicy for YouTube? Well, I have a Patreon and subscribe star for that. If you check it out, you'll get access to not only long paints of all the speed paints that I do, but also those exclusive videos where this month we cover the Velma Dinkley principle. Anyway, let's get on with the video. What's good, people? Agent Juice reporting for duty. Azula! Azula, I believe, is the most compelling villain in the Avatar franchise. But what made her so great? Was it the fact that she was a hyper-competent and truly threatening villain that always kept our heroes on the back foot, making us bite our nails to see how they could get out of the next pickle? No, actually, I don't believe that at all. I believe that what makes her compelling is the fact that that whole nonsense I just mentioned was a facade. It was something that she put up, something to hide a darker, more vulnerable side to her. One that was finally revealed during the finale of the original series of The Last Airbender. And it is that multifaceted aspect of Azula that I wish to use for my own work, particularly on my own character Velicia for my own cartoon SCHNEEEVIL. So, without further ado, let us go ahead and buckle into our favorite Fire Nation palace. Let us order our servants around to do weird tasks as we slowly descend into madness. Let us banish everyone, and while we're at it, smash the like button, or I guess banish the like button if we're gonna keep with the theme here. And let's talk about the fascinating character that is Princess Azula. So, first things first on this channel, let's go ahead and talk about the speed paint. Here we are with another episode of Velicia Cosplays, and this time Velicia is cosplaying Azula. This little scene, of course, is in reference to the final Agni Kai between Azula and Zuko during the finale. And it's in reference to that rocket hand Iron Man nonsense that firebenders can do when they jettison around. And of course, normally they can only kind of scoot around the surface or like do short bursts. But during Sozin's Comet, it's amped up to like infinity, and they can basically fly around like a jet. And so this is Velicia attempting to fly around using fire blasts. So the funny thing is that Velicia herself in SCHNEEEVIL is a sorceress, so she is capable of flight. However, she has never used jet thrust like this before. So she is finding out the hard way that it's kind of hard to stop when you're rocketing around like that uncontrollably. So I decided to make a little joke about that at Velicia's expense, which is something I love doing. Azula is widely praised as one of the greatest characters in all of Avatar. However, I wouldn't call her the greatest. That honor goes to Zuko.
That's rough, buddy.
I've made a video on Zuko that you can watch. Haha, look at me plugging my stuff. Check the link down below where I talk about how Zuko is the greatest character in the entire franchise. However, I would go as far as to say that Azula is the greatest villain in the Avatar franchise. I would agree with that. What makes Azula so great as a villain? Well, not only her threat level, but also her intimacy with the characters. I have mentioned in previous Velicia Cosplays videos that these villainesses that Velicia is cosplaying as, some of them, particularly I mentioned it about the Butt Witch, and I've mentioned it about Wuya, is that these characters represent a force of nature, right? Something that is so beyond what our heroes can handle that it is no longer seen as human, but rather as an entity. And I believe that Azula represents that very well. She is shown very early on to be a prodigy in damn near everything she touches. She is an insanely gifted firebender. She is meticulously smart when it comes to her Machiavellian tactics. She is perfectly, or at least seems to be perfectly emotionlessly ruthless. She does not let any kind of petty humanness get in the way of her laser-guided focus, and that makes her seem like an entity that's larger than life. So not only does she have that, though, she also has, like I mentioned, the intimacy, because she is the sister of Zuko, our favorite anti-hero. So there is a soft spotness, I guess for lack of a better term, that we have with our heroes, and of course I lump Zuko in with the heroes because he eventually joins them. So we have this great recipe of a force of nature that has an intimate connection with the protagonists that make it a lot more juicy than it would be if, for example, the great villain was essentially not related to any of the characters. If Zuko was completely out, if there was no Zuko in Avatar, I truly believe that Azula wouldn't have nearly the level of impact on the show in general. Alright, so what of Velicia? What can I steal from Azula? Well, this is another one of those juicy little twofers that I get to steal from. A very common theme, if you watch through my my Velicia cosplay videos, is that the characters that she cosplays are more often than not characters she wishes to be like. However, in the case of Azula, and also in the case of White Diamond, if you want to check out the White Diamond video, plugging my stuff, it goes a step beyond. You see, Velicia in SCHNEEEVIL is supposed to be the supreme dark sorceress. Her whole goal is that she wants to conquer the world, right? She wants to be the all-powerful empress. And so she wants to be seen like Azula. She wants to have that level of confidence and level of fear and inevitability that she portrays. However, the deeper aspect of Azula, the fact that it's this facade that she meticulously created at the expense of her own mental stability, and when we see it chip away, we see just how not with it Azula really is essentially a fear that Velicia has, because she too is someone who's not really all with it all the time. And so Azula's breakdown is very similar to what I described White Diamond's breakdown in Steven Universe, where, you know, White Diamond is seen as this like all-powerful godlike entity until Steven kind of does his little huggy ooh-woo thing that he does and made her break her facade. That is a great fear of Velicia, is building this big image and having it crumble before you. The big difference, though, is that Azula's mental breakdown is much more severe than White Diamond's, because when White Diamond breaks down, you know, Steven hugs her and all the other diamonds, and then all of a sudden these space dictators and genocidal maniacs are seen as friends now, and everything's okay, whereas Azula's breakdown is a lot more serious, because she basically goes full Looney Tunes and gets thrown in the funny farm, which is a very unfortunate ending. So that is a much more jarring and tragic end that Velicia would fear with much more strength than she would White Diamond's fall. So I think the weird roundabout way of saying this is I think that Velicia is more like Azula than she is any other character I've made her cosplay so far. Because Azula is essentially a successful Velicia. Okay, if Velicia got everything she wanted, she was able to create this facade, she would be able to act as confidently and be as powerful and seemingly unstoppable as Azula. And because Velicia is, how we say, you know, a few shy of a full deck, her breakdown would be equally as destructive, I guess emotionally and mentally destructive, as Azula's breakdown. And that is a very scary thought for Velicia. Now, that being said, SCHNEEEVIL is not a serious cartoon. It's not meant to be taken as seriously as Avatar. It's very much supposed to be kind of funny. So when Velicia does kind of, you know, break down, her craziness is kind of supposed to be more like the, you know, classic cartoon way of treating generic insanity than it would be an actual, like, you know, serious and tragic mental breakdown of a real life person. And that's what Azula is supposed to be. She's more supposed to be real life. However, I want to emphasize that what I'm essentially stealing from Azula is the severity of the dependency upon the veneer she portrays. It is very clear that her sense of unstoppability is pretty much all that Azula feels she has in this world. And in a way, that's kind of sad. And of course, probably equally as sad as ultimately I think that's what Velicia feels like she also has, is that she is so bent on trying to build a successful veneer, because that is too what she essentially feels like that's all she has in this world. Anyway, I think we'll go ahead and end it on that little sour note, shall we? So you people know what to do. If you like what you see and you want to see more, go ahead and tickle the sacred buttons. If you want to see what comes next, go ahead and like and share the video so that you can tell me your thoughts, and then you can share those thoughts to the world, because you know that's what's good for me and good for you and good for your hygiene. Of course, remember the Patreon and subscribe star if you want to see the long paint of this week's video, and of course all the videos I make, as well as you want to see the exclusive content that I make. And if you wish to follow me elsewhere on Interbuts, you can always hit up my links that I show up here on the screen. as well as pay a special attention to minds.com because it's the alternative website, and I always like pushing the alternative websites. And yeah, with all that said, I thank you for spending this time with me. I do hope you all stick around, and until next time, deuces.